What's up, XRP family? Thank you guys for joining the video for today. Let's dig in, guys. We have here Ripple, Stellar, G20, FSB, and CPMI all mentioned in the World Bank document. So here we can see this is a link, guys, to the worldbank.org, and you can clearly see where they mention Ripple. Let's get through this, guys. Here we say the model focuses on commercial cross-border and interbank payments combined with cross-currency funds settlement. Ripple allows for a move away from establishing upfront correspondent banking relationships towards a more dynamic approach. This approach identifies a path for the flow of funds from a sender in a particular currency to a receiver in a particular currency. Now, the thing is here, guys, which is very interesting. There was a video of Brett Garlinghouse and he was explaining what Ripple is actually doing. And he gave a very nice example. He said that Swift is just a messaging system. Swift is not providing liquidity. Now you have to think about this very, very carefully in what I'm about to say, right? Ripple is messaging and providing liquidity. So it's doing two things at the same time, combining them. It's doing the messaging and it's doing the liquidity, both of them. Swift is just doing the messaging. They don't have liquidity. They send a message to the banks like JP Morgan, like HSBC, which have liquidity, to actually send the liquidity. That's the message. It's a messaging system. It's not, and this is what they're upgrading with ISO 222. They're upgrading the messaging system. So what is missing? The liquidity. But Ripple has both. Do you see now, guys? Ripple is the complete picture. And that is why you can see them in all these papers of the World Bank, IMF, BIS, because it is the only solution. They are one of the biggest that have, I think they're the only one at the moment that have liquidity and are doing messaging, both of them in one party. Which is very, very unique, guys. Seriously, people do not understand Ripple and how big it actually is. And once they will, it's gonna be too late. Ripple's own cryptocurrency XRP is actively traded on several cryptocurrency exchanges. Ripple also operates its own exchange structured as in-network described previously, in which the top currencies actively exchanged are CNY, USD, GPY, and Euro. In addition, other cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ether are also actively exchanged, right? So they also have their own exchange, as you can see, where things are being transferred. Now, this is very, very obvious, guys, what is happening here. Here we can see French Hill, Congress, US, stablecoin regulation inbound. Let's take a look.
On creating a regulatory framework around digital assets, I think for two reasons. One, you're right. There are some Democrats that think anything associated with blockchain or cryptocurrency is just money laundering and a way to have bad behavior. On the other hand, there's some Republicans that think the future is decentralized finance and that digital assets are critical. I think we bring them together because blockchain is an important innovation area. We want that technology to be done here in the United States. We want a regulatory framework that's transparent for developers, investors, and potential consumers as people try to prove a use case. And finally, we want to make sure that people have a full transparency of that. And so I think that will bring Democrats and Republicans together for both law enforcement reasons, if that's what their top issue is, or for innovation and financial technology reasons.
Congressman, do you think we need to follow the money? Do we need to see who gets disintermediated, whether they have big offices on K Street and don't want this to happen? I won't mention any names, but obviously there's a lot of industries that probably are loath to think of a future with decentralized finance.
That's true, but look, blockchain right now is an emerging technology. There are industries all over our country that are looking at how can blockchain or a distributed ledger be useful in their business to cut down on agency costs. And those don't always have to be completely disruptive. They might be more gradual as that innovation takes place. I mean, right now, for example, I love the comment the other day where somebody said a transaction using Bitcoin takes so long my coffee is cold. So this is not right now a technology that's ready for prime time in a real-time payments industry. but we want to make sure that America is the place for innovation in fintech, and blockchain and distributed ledger technology is part of that fintech future.
That's funny, guys, right? Because he mentions Bitcoin, which is obviously not the way to go, which it's obviously XRP. But why do you think he's mentioning Bitcoin? Because you can see that it takes a long time for these people to actually get on with it, right? They're still behind. Why do you think that is, guys? This is all on purpose. Like the whole lawsuit is just a stage. It's just a movie that they have created for you to see, because once they're ready, it's gonna move very fast. And these people are just reading a script, and they're just part of their own plan. Prove the 218 Hinman speech was guidance and not opinion. Listen to Heath Tharbert discuss how they view BTC and ETH with Jim Newsom.
As you well know, regulatory certainty is key, or is crucial in any market, but especially in a new market. Could you share with us some of your thoughts, some of your work, and the CFTC's work with the SEC, particularly in regard to the issuance of tokens and their classification? For example, whether it's a investment contract, a utility coin, a commodity, a currency, or otherwise, do you foresee any additional guidance from either the CFTC or the SEC to provide further clarification in this whole new arena?
Absolutely. I think we can definitely foresee greater clarity and information coming out of both agencies. Not sure quite when, but I can tell you that working with the SEC on these issues and a whole host of issues has been a big part of what I do. I have the privilege of talking with Chairman Clayton often several times a week, but very frequently. And I know this is an important item for him as well. For our part, we have tried to provide as much clarity as possible. To your point, it's really important that people understand what the rules of the game are, and then they can innovate accordingly. We have made the determination, based on the SEC's determination that it's not a security or an investment contract, that Bitcoin and Ether are commodities falling within our jurisdiction. But really, the threshold question is largely whether something is a security or not. And that is the sole province of the SEC. And so once they make a determination, we then can take their determination, particularly if the determination is it's not a security, and then we can start thinking about it in terms of our own regime and trying to provide clarity around what people need to do.
Very interesting, right? Because he just said that they came to a conclusion where BTC and ETH are not securities, which leads to the 2018 Hinman speech was not an opinion, but a clear conclusion. Again, very weird what is going on here, guys. Why I believe Ripple are working with a lot of central banks with their CBDCs. Description of a current job opening, partner solution directors, central banks. Very interesting. Look at this. Work with multiple clients simultaneously. So this will be your job if you go to careers here, and the job description is this, where you are clearly working with more central banks, and you have to then assist and meeting their CBDC objectives. You can see all the things that you have to do as this job prescription. So very interesting, guys, because this shows that they are working with more central banks. Ripple is the most advanced startup in this field, where you can see here in this paper, where they talk about blockchain has the potential to disrupt correspondent banking. And then here you can see Ripple is the most advanced startup in this field, right? They are, guys, they are building this for a decade. They are around for a very long time. And I think very soon we will see the fruits of that. The SEC claims are so stupidly outrageous that it argues a person who acquires XRP in Japan is in a common enterprise with Ripple and all other XRP holders, and XRP is a security, even though Japan's own regulator says it's not. XRP is the second most popular crypto in Japan. Now, Do you really think, guys, when you think about this for a second, do you really think that the SEC is this stupid to really believe this, that this is the case, right? Because look, once again, I will say Ripple's offers and sales of XRP may have violated US securities laws. And if the SEC were only pursuing Ripple's sales, I would have never filed suit against the SEC. But claiming an asset is and always will be, no matter the seller of the circumstances surrounding the sale, a security is insane. And there isn't one case in 76 years since Howey that supports such an absurd claim. Do you really think, guys, that the SEC is this stupid? They absolutely know that this is a staged lawsuit and they are going to lose. And I think they already know that. Now, thank you very much for watching this video, guys. See you in the next one. Cheers.